So we start with the front diff, and what we do is we start, make sure you get the cup with the curve on it, and you put the grease into the groove that's supplied in the kit. Make sure you give this a good plenty of grease in the groove, and then work it into the diff cup, because you may get some airlocks in there. Use it quite liberally, back and forth. Then you can put the O-ring in, just place that into the diff like that, and that should slide in, and you need the bearing. Put that on like that, and it's in there perfectly. Then you need to use a pin, line that with the hole. Careful not to damage the O-ring when you do this. Once the pin's in line, just turn that round, make sure it's still free moving, so the O-ring's settled. Then place the first gear in, and make sure it seats correctly, so it's nice and flat in there. Then with your 2mm driver, tighten the set screw in there so it's just flush with the body of that. And you can only use this size of set screw that comes in the kit, otherwise you will go against the gear and the smaller gears. Once you've done that, you can get your 2 diff bars. You'll need 4 shims and 4 gears. Put these on there, make sure they're free running, and you have a shim each end. Make sure that the bar is flat in there. And again, shims either end. Place that in there. Then you're ready to put the silicone grease that comes in the kit, or silicone oil, which is 5000 we're going to use in this. So just put the oil in, just fill it so it covers the gears, and spin round. And then you can put the top gear in just to check the level of the oil. You need to fill the diffs to around 80%. So the time you put your other diff cup gear in, this will fill up. So I just put a small bit here for lubrication. And just a bit there where the diff gear bar goes to fill the hole. Then quite an important thing is to get the gasket with the oil and rub the silicone oil that you're going to use into the gasket to make it supple for a good seal. Then make sure you have a good silicone sealant around there. Line the gasket up. Then using M3 12mm screws with your 2mm driver. If you set this to one side just to let the air bleed and settle so it gets most of the air out of the oil, we can do the other side of the diff. Again, making sure that you have the curved for this drive cup. See, it's only the centre diff that has the flat, and it's important because it's a different size of the cup for the brake disc. So it's important you use the right drive cups, and also the curve is to stop the drive shaft from shearing when the suspension is at fully up travel or fully down travel and heavy landings with the flex. Again, apply the grease liberally. Make sure everything's free rolling. And you've got a good seal around there. And then you're ready for your other bearing. Don't forget that, otherwise you're in trouble. You have to take it all apart again. And pop your O-ring in, because it's already greased in there nicely now, so it's a good seating and good seal. That should pop nicely through. If it does pop up, then it means the shaft's a bit dry. Then you can put your pin through the hole. Make sure that's all free running and seated well. Then you're ready to put the top. What I do is I line it so that this is in between the two screw holes, and then you'll find this easy to line up. If you do the same, make sure that's in the centre there, and you should place down and line up with the holes. Once that's seated, just make sure you get your screws in nice and straight to start off with. So once you get near to the tightening of the screws, you just gently nip crossways the screws. Just gently nip them up as though you were talking down the head of an engine, so that it's evenly screwed down, so the gasket has a fair chance of keeping the seal. So once you've got that tight, crank one, and crossways to the two, and crossways to the three, and crossways to the four, and then you repeat. So from the one, crank again, two, crank again, three, crank again, and then four, crank again. And then repeat until you feel you don't tighten it any tighter. Just little turns at a time, and this will evenly get the gasket for a good seal. And then you have your diff. It should rotate nicely both ways, and that's your front diff built.